this is Abby Ann, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Illinois, currently studying at Berklee College of Music, majoring in songwriting, and planning to graduate in May. That was my kitty. And, welcome to the global crisis! Yeah, I'm not gonna summarize the situation for you because I'm sure you already know all about it, but obviously the pandemic is affecting us here at Berklee in Boston, Massachusetts. We are currently having an outbreak in Massachusetts. We are currently social distancing. We are currently not leaving my apartment, is what I'm not doing. I have left a few times, obviously, to get groceries and everything, but for the moment, I am kind of here. Berklee is closed. Berklee has moved to online learning, as a lot of colleges have. It's upsetting as a senior for my last semester at Berklee, my last full semester at Berklee. I have one summer class, but it doesn't really feel like that counts. I'm no longer on campus. I am entirely in online learning. This is actually currently my spring break, and if COVID-19 hadn't happened, right now I would be landing at the Boston airport coming back from a school trip to Nashville with the songwriting department. But even more so than the fact that I don't get to go on my trip, I'm sad that I am missing out on the last memories of my college career. And I know that all college kids who are switching to online learning can relate to that, but it's harder for music students and other students whose field is more applied and is more physical. A lot of Berklee students are currently taking private lessons, which can be done online. A lot of us were in ensembles, or I was in a lab that I'm gonna be relatively okay, but it does mean I will be learning how to play percussion without an instrument. It's not gonna be the same. Anyone in an ensemble? I don't know, it's kind of case by case. Berklee didn't do a great job, I don't think, communicating with the ensemble department, as far as I know. I'm just a student, so maybe they did, but from friends who have ensembles, they don't know what they're doing. Every teacher is different. There are so many classes at Berklee that really don't transfer well to being online learning, be it those ensembles, those labs, the dance classes and the theater classes at our other school, BOCO, that also a lot of Berklee students are taking. Recording and mixing aren't necessarily things that can be taught without students having access to the studios as effectively. Students who are supposed to be creating portfolios or recording works can no longer do that. All projects of students are kind of in limbo because bands can't practice if half of the band had to go home, or if they're trying to social distance like responsible young adults. We don't really do lecture style classes at Berklee. That's very rare. We do almost entirely applied things. My conducting class, every single, the whole point is that you get up in front of the class and conduct. So now we're doing it in small groups, and we won't have that camaraderie that we had. Part of my favorite thing about conducting class is that it feels like we're in a little club and we're all getting closer and we're all giving constructive feedback, and it's fun and it's funny and it's lighthearted, and it's something I look forward to every week, and I won't get that anymore. And I won't be necessarily in a classroom environment again. Most of my Berklee classes are going to be moved to online using the WebEx platform that's integrated into Berklee's system. However, other teachers are trying to figure out what they want to use because the system that Berklee uses is not the best. That being said, I only met with 3 of my, I think, 7 classes before leaving for what is currently my spring break. So I don't know how any of those other classes are gonna run. I understand why teachers haven't been communicating with us, but it is very frustrating. It is also spring break, and I understand that. I think part of what makes this so hard, especially on us music students, is that we all had things planned, like gigs and recitals, which are required for some students, that are canceled. We all had projects we're working on that are now in limbo. We can't necessarily do all of it from online. Of course, music students and theater students aren't the only people who are affected this way. Obviously, medical students, obviously any field that has like applied physical in-class things. So it's going to be difficult for all of us. I think something that I'm really concerned about is the fact that I will be here in my apartment with my kitty cat most of the time, and I find it really hard to self-motivate, especially when things are hard. You might have noticed I haven't been uploading. I have had the semester from hell. First, it was one of my classes not being full, then it was having an emotional reaction to something, and then it was having a conflict with a student in a class, and then it was the video that I posted yesterday or today or whenever, on Tuesday of this week, about how I had to be out of my apartment for 4 days, and then I got home on Monday, and that Wednesday my garbage disposal broke and it didn't get fixed until the following Wednesday. So I was living in an apartment that I couldn't clean my dishes, I couldn't cook because I couldn't do the dishes, so I was eating only prepared food, like pre-prepared food, and eating out, which was really stressful and frustrating. I then had a pain flare-up of my chronic condition, and now my spring break canceled, and then school moved to online, and now social distancing. It's been a rough one, and I'm really worried about being home alone and having to self-motivate. I have classes, obviously, that I will be resuming next week. I have plenty of things I want to do, but historically I've had trouble self-motivating and forcing myself to do things if I don't have an external deadline. What am I planning to do during this gift of time and at-homeness? Currently, I am filming this video. I uploaded yesterday or whenever that video. I am working on my book. I am working on doing more music. I am working on rebuilding my website because I'm switching platforms. I am working on music. I am working on my apartment. I also have a list up on a bulletin board in my kitchen of things to do if I feel myself going stir crazy that aren't just sitting around and watching Netflix and playing a game on my phone. Things like reading a book or knitting. I've been doing more knitting. Or, you know, writing someone a letter, reaching out to friends, finding a new hobby, working on music, all of these things. I think it's easy when we're stuck at home to fall into the trap of only doing Netflix and hanging out and napping, which, no judgment, God knows I do enough of that. But I know that if I don't feel at the end of the day like I've been productive and have something to show for my day, I know that I will fall into depression. I've also been washing my hands a lot. That should come as no surprise. You should also be washing your hands a lot. Just saying. It's hard to know what to say in a situation like this because I'm having a lot of trouble wrapping my mind around it. It's hard to recognize that it's real when I am stuck in my apartment, only reading the news stories and hearing about it and not living it. But I don't want to be living it. I'm very thankful that currently I'm healthy, as far as I know, and that I am not in a position where I have to leave my apartment repeatedly, or that I am not immunocompromised or at what they would consider high risk. However, I am not at low risk. I do have a pre-existing condition, and one of my fears is that if I get it, I will have a hard time recovering because my body doesn't recover from things well. I fell on my hip quite a few years ago at this point, 2 or 3, and when I flare up, that's where I flare because I have an injury there. I had pneumonia in high school and it took me a year to be breathing normally again. So I'm staying home as much as possible, if at all possible, all the time, which is a lot. Just saying. Luckily I do have parents who are also staying home so I can FaceTime them, and I have a sister who is my favorite, who I have been using for knitting help because she knows what she's doing and I very much do not. And I have my kitty cat running around, and I obviously have really, really good friends who I can reach out to as well. But it's still hard. It's still really scary, and our country isn't prepared or taking it seriously enough or taking proactive enough steps. And that's frustrating, though not surprising, and terrifying. I'm terrified. I know that I most likely would be fine if I got sick, but that's not true of all the people I care about, and that's not true for a lot of people, and I don't understand people who are ignoring the threat or pushing it aside and putting themselves first. So, I hope that you are also social distancing, that's hard to say, and I hope that you are frequently washing your hands, that you are cleaning surfaces you touch frequently, that you are exercising all precautions necessary, and I hope that you're healthy, and I hope that you are not losing your mind the way I'm probably going to very soon. I hope that you're doing well. Please feel free to let me know in the comments what you're doing to fight this panic and this cabin fever, and how it's affecting you. If you want to talk about it, feel free to subscribe if you want to see me slowly spiral into the insanity that is living alone and being locked with yourself all day and your cat. That helps. And stay healthy, and I'll talk to you soon.